telly fortune.
It's the 100 people to name a famous Arthur.
Shakespeare.
Arthur Shakespeare.
Name something a dentist says. Rob.
Just a small prick.
It's difficult, isn't it? Just keeping the kids entertained and trying to be as normal as we can. Mrs. has given me loads of jobs to do around the house from doing the garden, and just bought a puppy as well. That's keeping the kids entertained. So, really missing football yet, but I think we can only go back when it's safe to do so, can't we? So, just need to be patient with it, really. You can't say we need the venue by this date. You know, we'll have the friendly on this date. You know, when you're speaking to players, pre-season going to start in X, Y, Z. There's just loads of grey areas around every conversation you're having. It's just sort of everyone's just got to sort of just be quite patient with it, and you can't. It's difficult to sort of nail something down at the minute because of everything else that's going on. It was a really difficult sort of moment when I made the transition from Ashton to Colls, because there was loads in my head about, you know, I've come from management, I'm going into coaching, and how am I going to sort of adapt to that environment, and, you know, have a different responsibility on my shoulders rather than being the manager. But I think the work that the previous management team have done with the lads, they could have made it very difficult for us to come in as a new management team, as a group of players.
He's very good.
Yes, he's thought it out, I think, this guy.
Very articulate.
You know, they're very close-knit. Clegg's had them for years and years and years. Have been very, very successful. But I think as a club and as a group of players, have been absolutely fantastic with us all. With myself, you know, with you, with Brad coming in. I think they made that transition quite seamless, to be honest. I know obviously we've put loads of effort in, haven't we, to sort of trying to make it a similar environment and, you know, just try and sort of carry on that momentum through the season. And the lads have really, really bought into what we've done, I think. It could have been a lot worse than it has been. They could have made it a lot more difficult than they did. But they've been very professional, I think, in the way that they went about the business.
I haven't seen that done before, where they just won in on the action.
Me neither.
At any
They
price.
must think it's a really good business if they're saying that.
It must be fantastic.
You know, as a club, they've been brilliant. But I just think as a group of lads, they've been an absolute pleasure, haven't they, this season, to just come in and sort of crack on with.
He's actually charmed them, you know.
Yeah, he's got their attention.
He has.
In terms of as a manager and a coach, from the level that I was at previously, I find that you can't switch off for a minute in our level. You know, previous years, obviously being new to management, you do switch off, and you know what, you get away with it more often than not. But in the Prem and the step 3 in the league that we're in, I think as a player, as a manager, as a coach, as a physio, you know, you switch off for a minute and you could have conceded a goal. The transitions in the games are that quick. You've just got to really be on the ball all the time. So during a game there's that, but then I think away from the game as well, the preparation and the professionalism that's needed is good. You know, it's really, really good to work with, but it's very full on, which I thrive in, to be honest. You know, in terms of like your planning, your preparation, all that sort of stuff. I think to round it off, it's just a lot more professional, and the calibre of players that you're working with is so much stronger. You go back to Whitby, where we are 2-0 down at half-time.
Oh, God. What happened there?
What a shambles.
And it's windy, it's horrible conditions. You know, the lads have had a long journey on a minibus and all, you know, all that sort of to contend with. But we were poor that day against Whitby. But I honestly felt that if we went out and never conceded, as soon as we did, and we'd have hung in, I think when we did concede the third, we actually played relatively well. It was almost like a lot of pressure was lifted off the shoulders. And you look back and you think, if we'd have got that next goal and not conceded at that crucial time, we'd have probably gone on and got something. And that's what I'm finding at this level, is that goals are scored in those little time frames that make a massive, massive difference in a game. We went through a really tough period, didn't we, just before the season had finished, and we were sort of we had the Stalybridge game, and then we had the Lancaster semi-final, and I really thought, even the Lancaster game at Leyland, although we got beat 1-0, we played very, very well that day, I believe. And I felt really confident going into that Marine game, going into the Cup game, and going into the next few games. I thought we'd have definitely stayed up. I thought the tides had turned, and we got through the rough patch, and the lads were feeling really well about themselves, and we were quite confident. And you know, we don't forget as well, we've come into a side, as I said earlier, that have had that steady management team and that longevity in playing with each other. And we've come in, we've kicked off really well, and then we've sort of gone through a lull. But I think the timing to the end of the season, I think, was the killer for me, because we didn't have enough time to prove that we were going to go on and do well. I think we sort of had a sticky patch, and then we were just coming out of it with a really good result at Stalybridge, and then it got sort of swept from under our feet. But I'm with you. I think if the league would have gone on, I'd definitely fancy us to stay up, no doubt about that. I'd like us to compete next season. I really would, and I think that if the fixture draw is kind to us and we can have a good start to the season and start off on the front foot, then it's proven that Colls, you can never write them off as a club. So the management team sit down and discuss. I think we'd all say we need to solidify our sort of stature within the league next season. I just think if we can all just stay safe and, stick to the guidelines and be with our families at this time, then we'll get through it quicker than we would if we ignore what's going on and do what you please. So I think for me and my family, we're sort of isolating, keeping ourselves busy. So just hope everyone's doing the same, keeping safe, and can't wait to see you all next season.
That was good, Dad. That was brilliant, that one.